mom's house, and this is comfort food 101 from Peru. So it's a perfect combination of, I guess, what you would compare to a chicken stew and the filling of a chicken pot pie, right? And that sounds amazing already, right? So we're gonna make this dish that includes potatoes and egg and chicken and Parmesan cheese and this awesome creamy gravy, and you're gonna love it. And it all happens in one pan. There is a couple of steps that we have to do before getting to the one pan part of it, but trust me, it's not difficult. It comes together in like 10 or 15 minutes, and it's a great dish to eat when you're watching a movie, or just sort of like Peruvian chili, I guess. So yeah, I guess compared to a Peruvian white chicken chili. Now that might be a little hard to do, but trust me, just wait for me, and I'll show you how to do it. Hi, and welcome back to A Seat at My Table. I am Chef Luis Sanchez, and today we're going to be making a Peruvian chicken stew that we call Aji de Gallina. Think of it as comfort food from Peru, so you're going to be feeling like you're sitting at my mom's table, actually, on a Thursday afternoon. So it's a really cool dish. There's a couple of steps involved, and the first one is cooking the chicken. So I don't really, I'm not going to show you how to do it, but we're basically boiling a chicken breast. You can use chicken thigh or whatever the favorite part of the chicken is. And to do that, you just put in this case, chicken breast. I put in some celery, some onion, and some carrots. Cold water, I put a couple of bay leaves and a couple of peppercorns. Bring it to a boil. Once it boils, bring it down to a simmer. And throughout that process, it's going to take you about 30 to 40 minutes. Go in there and skim, which means you go into the pan, or the pot in this case, and just take the impurities out of the top. Pull out your chicken. Your chicken's going to cool down. Save that stock or broth. And because we're going to use that in this coming up step. And then we're going to pull the chicken, which means just kind of doing this, right? So the chicken breast, we're going to just break it into little chunks. I saved some so I can show you. We don't want them like hair-looking pieces of chicken. We want them a little bit chunkier. Think of a little bit of a chunkier chicken salad. And this is more than enough chicken. So for probably two people, regular sized chicken breast, a large chicken breast for 4 people. We have about 2 chicken breasts here, so we have enough. Once you have your chicken all pulled, then we're going to do something cool, which is sort of making the base for the gravy sauce. So we're going to help ourselves with a blender. In the blender, we're going to put a few ingredients. I've talked about ají, yellow peppers or ají peppers, which are right here. They are the soul of Peruvian cooking, like I keep saying. And from there, we make this paste, which we do by removing the seeds and boiling or sauteing the pepper with onion and garlic, and then blending it with a little bit of oil. Once again, I don't add salt to my ají paste. I keep it neutral because I'm going to add salt and or salty ingredients to the finished product. So in our blender, we're going to thicken this gravy stew-like dish with bread. So this is the bread that we make at my restaurant in Thousand Oaks, California, called Mouthful Eatery. This is a ciabatta bread. And we're just going to chunk it. You can use a knife, or you can get your aggressions out and just kind of throw it in this blender. Right? You want to break it down, and really just work it, because it's kind of fun to cook with your hands, as long as your hands are clean. I think 1 bread might be good, maybe a little bit more than 1 bread for the amount of chicken that we're making today. If you have sliced bread, that works. If you have any bread that you use from the day before or whatever, I wouldn't really work with like pumpernickel bread or wheat bread. Try to stick with the sourdough or the white bread or sliced bread. Once you have it here, then we're going to add milk. We have about 8 ounces of milk in here, and that's going to start softening up the bread. Sorry, we have this is our chicken broth that we saved from yesterday, so we're going to add that into the blender too. And we're going to add some garlic, just minced fresh garlic. We have, I love these little bowls. We have, what is this? Oh, this is not cumin, but turmeric. Turmeric does 2 things. It keeps you healthy, and it adds really cool color. Flavor profile-wise, it doesn't do a lot, but it's the color and the good things that it does for your body that I like. This is cumin. This doesn't smell awesome, but it tastes awesome once you cook with it. So we're going to add a little cumin in there. We're gonna add a little bit of salt, not a lot, because once we're cooking this dish behind me on the fire, we're gonna finish it up with Parmesan cheese, which is salty already. So it's much easier to add salt to something than to fix it from that point. So it's better to be on the safe side, but you always want to taste throughout the process. So now we blend, but guess what? I forgot the ingredient that I was gonna add here, which is the chili paste, right? So this is the ají paste. Once again, you add as much as you want. This is sort of the soul of the dish, so we're gonna add a couple of tablespoons in there. A little bit more maybe. And we're gonna go ahead and blend. Cool. Our mixture is blended. It's going to reduce on the fire, so don't worry about it whether it's runny or not. It's fine no matter what, because we can always add more chicken stock and or milk when we're cooking it behind us. So I will see you back there when we're actually cooking this dish. Thank you. Alright, so we've added the onion to the oil. It took a little bit to heat up, so now we're sauteing the onion. I guess a better term would be sweating the onion. We're trying to just soften up the onion without getting any color. And how you do that is by controlling the heat and moving things around. So if you see color starting to form, then you want to lower your heat, right? There's all these knobs on your kitchen at home too. I know that you have them, so control them. It doesn't always have to be on high unless you need it to be on high. This is going to take about 2 to 3 minutes to get to where I want to be, maybe a little bit more depending on your stove. You don't want to add salt right now, because if you add salt right now, then the liquid or the moisture of the onion is going to come out and it's going to make the process a little bit longer. We're about 2 minutes away from where I want to be, so we're just going to keep sauteing the onions. The onions are about 1 minute away, so the next thing we're going to do is add our chili paste and chicken stock and milk mixture. And remember, that's the one that has the bread that we sort of crumbled and blended together. And that's going to thicken up our sauce. But we want to cook that a little bit. And that's going to be what tells us how thick or thin our mixture is. So we can always add either more bread or add more liquid. In that case, we can add milk and or chicken stock to it. Since we have a little time here in our show, why don't you go ahead and send me some messages or comments onto whether you want me to make more Peruvian stuff and or other dishes that you want me to make. I would love to hear from you. Also, if you've tried making anything that we've made so far, let me know. Share some pictures. I would love to read those as well. Alright, the onions are getting a little soft, and I see that they're getting a little color, so I'm going to go ahead and lower our heat a little bit. We have about 30 more seconds with the onions, and then we're going to add our bread mixture. You don't want the onions to be crunchy, you just want them to be soft. So if it takes you longer, by all means, don't rush this process. Slow it down, make sure that the onions are where you want them to be, and then add your bread. So I'm going to do that as well. Alright, our onions are coming along, so we're going to add our chili milk chicken stock mixture with the bread, and it's going to bubble up nicely, so keep moving it around. This dish is normally kind of like a bright yellow orange color. If you don't have the color that you want, this would be a good time to add a little more of the turmeric. I think we're going to be fine though. I'm turning the fire back up because we added something moist. So it cooled down the pan, so we're going to bring it back up again. You don't want to rush things at this point. You want it to come back to the heat that we had. So it might take a couple of minutes, but that's what you need to do. I'm going to go ahead and grab some extra chicken stock because I think I'm going to need it. It's starting to get where I need it to get. So next I'm going to add the chicken. And I'm going to mix that in. And as you can see, it's starting to look a little bit dry. So I'm going to adjust with more chicken stock. And that's gonna cool down my pan, but that's okay. We're gonna be patient and wait. Remember, this dish is awesome, but it's not a dish that's gonna take you 10 minutes to make, so it might take you a little bit longer. You want to work that bread into the chicken stock, and we're gonna wait for it to come to a boil and simmer for us as well. Next, we're gonna add a little bit more of the milk, and we're gonna finish it up with Parmesan and chopped pecans. If you don't have pecans, if you have almonds at home, you can use that. You can use walnuts, or you don't really have to use any nuts, especially if there's anybody at home that's allergic. But I love that texture of the pecans in it. I'm gonna grab a spoon and taste. It's really good. Lowering the heat now. I'm going to add a little bit of more milk. And at this point, I'm going to add the Parmesan cheese, which is going to flavor it and also bind it together. And then we're going to finish up with the pecans, or pecans, however you pronounce it, wherever you're watching us from. Cool. We're gonna let this simmer at low heat for another 2 minutes maybe, and then we're gonna go ahead and show you how to plate this dish. We'll see you soon. Well, welcome back. We're cutting the potatoes that are gonna make our Aji de Gallina, or Peruvian chicken stew. And here's the stew. It's awesome. It's very creamy and a little bit spicy and very, I don't know, it just has that homemade kind of like comfort kind of food that I love, right? So we're gonna serve it with potatoes. We're gonna serve it with some hard-boiled eggs, which I have right here, and a little bit of parsley, and also some olives, believe it or not. All right, so to plate, we're gonna put some potatoes. We love our potatoes in Peru. Maybe like 3, maybe 4. And then we're gonna pour this awesome gravy-like chickenness on top of the potatoes. And just let it run all over the place there. We're gonna add some eggs. We're gonna cut them like this today, just because I feel like it. Put one here, one here, one more. Right there, and then we have some olives. There's the Kalamata olives, but any olive that you like, even the canned olive, which I'm not a huge fan of, will do. The problem with the canned olives is that I just don't find them to have any flavor. But if that's your thing, then that's your thing. All right. And we have some chopped parsley here. And in Peru, they eat this with a side of rice, which I love, but it's just way too starchy. I'm sorry, Peruvians, I am one of them. So let's just maybe eat it like this today. Potatoes, egg, olives, and this awesome Aji de Gallina, which is, like I said, a comfort food Peruvian style. Well, let's give it a shot. Aji de Gallina, Peruvian style chicken stew, right? It is so good. It is really comforting. And once again, my name is Chef Luis Sanchez, and thank you for taking a seat at my table, and I hope to see you guys soon.